What's up, everybody? John Sharmiho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Nile, entitled Vile Nilotic Rites. This is released on Nuclear Blast Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Greensville, South Carolina, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very elaborate, technical, Egypt-influenced style of death metal. Yeah. It's pretty safe to say that Nile are without question one of the most well-known, well-regarded, very, very famous bands within the spectrum of extreme metal. Whether you're underground or commercial or mainstream, you have to have some sort of grasp as to who Nile are and what they're all about. Of course, the first time I had ever heard Nile was many, many years ago when I got acquainted with their fifth full-length album entitled Ithyphallic, and I saw the music video for that Papyrus song. I'm not going to say the full name of that song because I don't really remember it, but I remember watching that music video. I was completely entranced by it. From the super low guttural vocals, the fast, non-stop barrage of blast beats, really crisp technical riffs, just a very, very amazing song. And of course it led me on to hearing that entire album in full, and I fell in love with it instantly. But upon listening to Ithyphallic, it only led me on to find out more about what Nile was all about, and lo and behold, they had a very, very well-regarded discography of full-length albums that came out on Relapse back in the late 90s and mid-2000s. Albums such as Amongst the Catacombs of Neferka, In Their Darkened Shrines, Annihilation of the Wicked, Black Seeds of Vengeance. I know I'm going over the board over these albums, but still, those albums had some incredible music to accompany them, great artwork, great album covers, great vocals and lyrics, just some very memorable stuff. But then, of course, we get to the second stage of Nile's existence with albums such as the aforementioned Ithyphallic and another really awesome album I enjoyed of theirs, 2009's Those Whom the Gods Detest. Kafir, Hittite Dung Incantation, just some really, really great songs on that album, and I really loved those particular two latter-day Nile releases. But Nile have still kept the ball rolling and kept going along, even when it comes to albums that I don't really listen to all that much. That being 2012's At the Gate of Sethu and 2015's What Should Not Be Unearthed. I don't really listen to At the Gate of Sethu all that much, but What Should Not Be Unearthed definitely has a little bit of a redemption thing going for it. I enjoyed that album a little bit more personally. But yeah. Going into this new Nile album, I was very intrigued as to hear how things were going to go this time, because, of course, this is the first Nile album in a long time to not feature Dallas Toller Wade. Of course, you remember Dallas Toller Wade for that skullet hairstyle, those really guttural vocals, and those really awesome riffs. He left Nile, and I didn't know how to feel about it, because how do you move on with such a distinctive, recognizable death metal voice? And of course, this band has expanded a little bit, added a second guitarist and a second bassist, and therefore a new sort of vocalist. And I was very curious to see and hear how things were going to work out this time around. And now here we are with the ninth full-length album from Nile entitled Vile Nilotic Rites. It's 11 tracks, and it clocks in at around 54 minutes in length, and pretty much any worries that I may have had about this album originally are no longer existent, because this is an absolutely fun Nile record. I definitely think this is way better than the previous two Nile releases, and I definitely think that this can hold its own as probably one of the more solid releases in the current Nile discography. Musically, if you know what this band is all about, this band knows how to play really top-notch, technical death metal with a little bit of that brutal sort of edge going for it. I mean, you hear it on the opening moments of Long Shadow of Dread, and then later on this album you have songs like probably one of the best song titles of the year with the Oxford Handbook of Savage Genocidal Warfare, Seven Horns of War, Revel in Their Suffering. You just get a lot of really, really awesome riffs going on here. Very badass sounding, very well executed, really great solos, really great technicality going forward here with these guitar riffs. I definitely think it sounds awesome, and I think the bass work on here is very good too. It's definitely something that holds its own amongst the tightness guitar playing that you hear throughout the majority of this album. It's really, really cool. And a little thing to point out about this album is the fact the little instrumentals and things that lead up to certain songs, like going back to the track Seven Horns of War, you literally hear the theme song for Godzilla on the beginning of that track, which I think is fucking badass. And then, of course, you have some other tracks that definitely have that really special build-up point, like the Imperishable Stars Are Sickened. I think that's a really good track as well. But yeah. Moving on to the drums, it's the typical George Colias drum performance. This guy has been Niles' longtime drummer, and with each album, I definitely think he still has that great deal of energy, exuberance, and talent, and he shows it here on this album. A lot of blast beats, a lot of fills, a lot of great moments to really take in why George Colias is considered one of the better drummers in today's metal landscape, and he does a tremendous job here with this album, especially for some of the more lengthier, more grueling sorts of tracks that you hear on this album. And when it comes to the vocals, it's pretty much the typical Nile vocal style. You get your low, booming, growling vocals which I assume are from Carl Sanders. Of course, if you know Carl Sanders, he not only is he a great guitar player, but he also has a very recognizable and distinctive voice, very low guttural growls. But this new guy that's doing the vocals in place of Dallas Toler Wade, I think he's doing some really, really fantastic work here with his end of the vocals, and I definitely think he does a great job in terms of being fierce, angry, and delivering his words in the ways that he does. It's a very strong vocal performance, and I definitely commend him for getting the job done well here. So overall, like I said, I definitely like this a lot more than At the Gate of Sethu and What Should Not Be Unearthed. This is definitely leaps and miles better. I wouldn't say this is the best Nile album, because I still hold the first 5 Nile albums in great, great regard, even those whom the gods detest to a certain degree. But this is a very fun and worthwhile Nile record. I definitely think this band has a sense of renewed purpose now with this new lineup and with this new full-length album. And I'm very curious to see what the future will hold for Nile going into the many more years to come. So, if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Long Shadow of Dread, the Oxford Handbook of Savage Genocidal Warfare, Seven Horns of War, That Which Is Forbidden, Where Is the Wrathful Sky, and The Imperishable Stars Are Sickened. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you some links to some songs from this album that are currently streaming on YouTube. Plus, I will also link you to where you can purchase physical copies. It's available as a CD and, I believe, 12-inch vinyl. This band is currently doing a trek of North American tour dates with Terrorizer, so if they happen to be coming anywhere near you, definitely go check them out live. Nile are definitely a great band live to see. So, again, the album is Vile Nilotic Rites by Nile. This is released on Nuclear Blast Records. Definitely check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. Very awesome Nile record, and I'm very curious to see how things progress forward for Nile from here. So, if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Nile releases, or any of you guys into Nile or any of their Egyptian themes. Definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Armijo out.